he's British, but he moved to France at like the age of 3. The British players still try to claim him, but I don't know if it really counts.
Okay, so you're on my side is what you're saying.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, all right, cool. I can respect that. Okay, so Bind is the map. NiP going to kick us off here on attack, and it's going to be forZe who kick us off on the defense. Now, something to note is that Bind is one of the more even maps when it comes to attacker-sided and defender-sided. I think it's like 51%, 49, which is quite close towards the attack. Already a trade of kills, though, as that site is going to be taken here for NiP. They'll get that spike now, but now here comes the retake. Rhyme going to find one on Koyan, and now Zeddy just trying to poke his head through the vents, make sure that he gets some of these refrags.
Again, the pistol round bug shows Suede versus Suede with Phantoms. No one's got Phantoms. It is just a glitch. It's going to be fixed. It's the name of a developer from Riot. Apparently, the game reverts to that state at some point. Zeddy going to get one. Fearoth trades out. Zeddy finds another before being taken down. It's all up to Impala, the Cypher. And look at the damage dealt to Kriya, who's just playing this one so patiently, waiting around the corner as the Omen. The dart's going to be sent straight into his belly. Impala takes down Kriya, but has not gotten the spike to halfway. Recon dart coming out. Now he gets the spike to halfway. Peek comes through, 10 HP. Not much can be done. 3 kills on the round for Fearoth as the Sova NiP continues where they left off on Haven.
You know, one of the things that the desk touched on is the ability for NiP to kind of switch agents up on a dime. And I think that's going to be the name of the game here for NiP, especially if they want to take some of these early sets of best of 3s up against some of these teams. When it comes to G2, though, I think Tom, of course, hit it on the head. Auto review is probably going to be key. G2, of course, a newly formed team, but they've had some experience playing together in some of the previous G2 invitationals and some of the brawls where they had put pieces of varying members together at different points. And so far, of course, they are the kings of the throne. For them, they need to maintain that throne. Coffee, an early look towards the portal, will find himself a frag, but it's the B site that is lost completely by the defense. Now we are seeing the early rotate back to the spawn. But already, I like this adaptation from NiP, trying to get some early sight lines in towards that defender spawn, but it's the connector play from the defense. They'll now start to funnel in. Coffee's going to find one. They still have pistols here on the side of NiP, so maybe not the most ideal weaponry for some, as they now start to funnel through. The Boombot going to try to find a couple of those members lurking through the elbow. They'll be finding nothing so far. Kriya going to find one. He's going to find 2. Still looking for one more behind the tuna can. Backing up in towards Labs. Fira will get that refrag towards elbow. And now it is looking real tough. A great plant here. Now down to the 1v1 Fearoth. Fast to pick himself up a Spectre. A couple of those shots, but he's looking in the incorrect angle. And it's the defuse from Kolyan. Oh, Fearoth looks towards the wrong angle. And it's forZe with another round on the board. Sorry, their first round on the board.
forZe looking solid there. forZe, I mean, they looked okay in that first half on Haven. That was where they looked more comfortable. It was when they switched to the second half that things started to fall apart. It felt like early on they had built up some decent steam, were putting up rounds against NiP, but then in that second half, once NiP started chaining a few together, they just became unstoppable. So the fear right now, if you're forZe, is that you allow them to, again, do that. So by winning that round right there, they kind of prevent that, at least early on. Good work from forZe coming in early. We'll see how it is that NiP reacts.
Usually when you win the pistol, I like to make up a stat saying that 80% of the time that you win the pistol, you win the round. But I'm actually sure that there's probably a stat somewhere out there. I just need to go out and find it. Kriya going to find one early onto Impala, and he's got himself a Vandal. Not something I anticipate on a round by, especially one after that they lost. So likely the investment for him. A spray here from Zeddy. Don't think he's going to tag anyone, though, but it's quite the take here from NiP as forZe looking to try to get this retake back into their favor. The swing around the corner, not going to bode well here for Hip, as he'll get taken out eventually by Kolyan. Coffee as well with the rotate. That spike is down, but it is now NiP that are starting to struggle. They'll get picked off one at a time. Orbital Strike, the last ultimate use here. Now it's down to Lucker. He's going to find one. He's going to find 2. Cannot find the 3rd. And forZe another round back on the board.
Surviving with 2 as well. The attempt coming in from NiP was nearly successful, but unable to stop the push coming towards that B site. Spike does get planted. So again, forZe, they pick up that second round and then continue in similar fashion in the round that follows. You know, you mentioned that like 80% of the time you win that next round or whatever your artificial statistic is. The one stat that I really want to see is the third round conversion. Usually you win the pistol and you win that second round. That's pretty common. It's that third round that can be very difficult because of how the money stacks up, because you're coming into it usually with SMGs, maybe some bulldogs. So a lot of teams have actually opted to continue with the Ghost in that second round, which has also created more second round conversions for teams because they come in with just pistols and a little bit of armor, favoring the skills. Now that cam spot is going to give away pretty much the entire play, and Paul is already calling it. I don't think they realized the cam came out because they didn't shoot it. Or did they? It's hard to... No, they did. They did take it out.
They did. Yeah,
I couldn't tell. I couldn't hear it on my end. But, yeah, they did take out the camera. So he knew they were coming, and they rotate a bunch of extra power over, bringing that Phoenix in. But the rest of the players sticking on A, maybe anticipating a full-blown port strat towards the A site.
You know, to touch on your earlier point, it is something that I've seen a little bit more in Europe than in A. I know, of course, we've got a lot of experience casting some of the NA events, specifically the Ignition series. They'll usually force up on the second, but it's pistols for Europe, usually trying to save up towards that op. Looking towards the actual play that is happening before us, it's a quick trade of kills down to the 4v4. B site has been taking, the spike has been planted. Now it is up to defense. Get that retake cooking. Two going to be coming in from Hookah. The other two already playing towards labs. It's the elbow push from NiP, just trying to scout out information. There is an op on the other side, though, and so early peek's not going to go. Lucker going to find one. Smart7 there trying to find a refrag, but it's actually the refrag on the site. Wall going to be used, but Lucker, he's got his own ideas as well. The boost is good, but he's empty on the clip. Had to defuse. Now here, as they'll find the frags they need. Zeddy here with the rolling red carpet, trying to find that last and final member. Fearoth, though, he's making it very difficult. Defuse needs to start to come through here for Polian. It's the third one now after, and it's Fearoth. What a crazy round. And NiP just somehow, by the hair on their chin, push forward.
That was a narrow round win coming in from NiP, but look at what it cost them. That's a fire and brimstone round, no reference to the agent, as everyone dies, both sides. And the money on the attacking side, or on the attacking side, yeah, of NiP, excuse me, it's just kind of awkward at times. The same with the defense, though. You can see them gun juggling a bit, so they do have to go with the operator and the light armor. The defensive side, it's way worse for them. So, you know, whoever wins this round is going to really break the back of their opponent's economy. We'll see what ends up happening. You have the run it back ult popped pretty much right off the bat. Charging through the portal over on C to flank through showers. Doesn't really get any intel off that. The only intel he gets is that there's no one there, so they're likely to be grouping up towards mid and towards Hookah, and that's exactly what's currently going on. You've got one currently long C, that's the Sage at distance. That's likely Lucker with the operator backing off as the flash comes through from the curveball. One spotted in the back of sight, that's the recon dart, or actually the dart coming out of the Owl drone that gave away the intel. Hip's gonna gun down the breach. Lucker picks off Impala, and they've got themselves a two-man advantage.
Does look like for forZe, maybe not the most ideal buy, only looking at one perspective. So it is going to be a pretty good buy for them. But like you said, the economy really going to start to falter here for forZe if this round goes over to NiP. Early rotates over towards the A site. Will be the Sage player starting to have a look in and see if anyone has already made their way in. Smart7's going to be dealt with a full force of NiP. Smoke's already going down. Recon bolt to spot anyone on the site. The spray, though, not going to connect with anyone. They might answer back with a spray of their own. That spike should go down quite easily. Now it is up to forZe either to save or decide to figure out how are they going to dismantle NiP. But it's looking like just to save for them as they're huddled on that B site.
So that early surge of rounds coming in from forZe responded by NiP with a similar surge of rounds. Looking a little bit stronger, though, in those. You can see three players, again, just hunkering down on the B site, looking to hold on to the rifles. NiP going to steal that lead back, make things 3-2. After the A site take produced success. Again, it was early kills, though, towards the B site that kind of put this one in that position. But forZe will have to find a response in the next round. Credits will stack up kind of interestingly. So Zeddy and Impala, they're going to be in pistol armor, maybe even some stingers. You can see 2,500 credits for Zeddy, 2,400 for Impala. Currently at the top of the scoreboard is the Brim at 5-2, but Furoth 7-3. Kriya nipping at his heels at 6-4. No surprise there. Kriya looked really good, especially on the attacking side on Haven. We haven't really seen as much of Lucker yet, but again, he's just recently getting the op in his possession, so give him time to spool up, and we'll likely see that performance continue to grow over the course of the game.
You know, Lucker being, of course, a part of the Valorandos before, a team primarily comprised of players from Germany. They've done quite well in Tier 2 level European Valorant events, I would say. There's kind of a whole slew of events happening in Europe. And the addition to the team has I feel like been quite good here for NiP. Of course, they've got a lot of hips team on the roster, and so bits and pieces for NiP so far looking good. Not really sure where they're going so far. It is, of course, the defense on a broken buy, or really not even a buy at all. Zeddy here with the frenzy tells us quite a bit about the roster's economy, but you touched on that in the previous round. So far, NiP haven't really decided where they're going to go. Zeddy finding an early push towards Connector. I mean, I like the play, but when you're not dealing with the weaponry that you'd desire, it's 2 quick kills for Kriya, and now the potential opening of the B site.
Unfortunately, and I don't know if you spotted this, the Brim snuck his way into that portal early on to try and go for like a kind of surprise play, using that smoke to get across and then hide inside the portal on the other side. Unfortunately, the Owl drone goes through from the A site and spots him in there. So the call out is made from the Sova. That's why they brought the breach over, to try and support so he could escape, possibly. So they tried to use the flashpoint to get out. They're going to go ahead and set that dark cover over on the A site. Wall's going to go down. Spike's going to be planted. Omen is still lurking after baiting out a portal in. Hookah decides to finally just ult towards the back side of the A site. Again, it's going to be save territory coming in forZe, as the 3 remaining members are just too far disconnected from the play. You've got the Sage and Spawn. Phoenix is all the way over on A, but it looks like they are going to put some feelers towards it. You've got Cypher all the way up in Showers, so a bit of a disconnect on this potential retake coming in here from forZe. The Sage right around the corner, dispatched of quickly by Kriya. Impala's just working with the Ghost, hence his positioning, wanting to take that peek. The Ghost not working out so well. Great damage dealt. Finally finishes off Kriya at great expense to his own HP. Shock Dart puts him down onto 2. Lucky to be alive.
Spike ticking down. It's Impala looking for maybe any of those quick exits. Coffee will find an exit, which is not quite bad. They are going to start to maybe look to hunt him down. Just a couple of early peeks towards Hookah, but he's already in the back corner, safe and sound. 2-4 start here for NiP, and I did touch on earlier on that Bind can be just very slightly attacker favored, just very, very small percentage, but it's not enough to say that this is an attacker or defender sided map effect. It is probably the most even of all the maps, and so for NiP to have this start can only mean great things for their second half. But for forZe, maybe they just like to attack. We saw how successful their first half was, or at least in comparison to the second, and so maybe attack is just their strong suit. So we'll have to see if that's going to be the name of the game for them in that second half. But so far, defense not looking so good for them.
Smart 7 up on top of the APC, looking for the peak. There's Lucker with that operator, again playing the Sage. The peak coming in from the breach doesn't produce success. Lucker is there with another quick kill coming out on the operator. That's the round lost. Yet again, pull the ripcord because it's over. The Cypher and the Phoenix, again, disconnected from the play all the way across the map on B. Too easy for NiP to get onto that site with just a couple of quick kills coming out from that operator and one from the Omen. So you've already got the Raze, who never even left mid. The Raze has been sitting there all round, waiting to spot somebody, and you can see Furoth starting to group up in that territory as well, as they want to go on the hunt. They want to rip these guns out of play for forZe.
You know, there's a meme that goes around where you're saving your ult or you're saving your weapon for the next major, and for forZe, I hope that does not become a reoccurring theme, that they just save. At some point, they need to get involved and need to be a part of the conversation when it comes to these rounds. They'll find a great frag onto hip, though. It's Furoth that spots them out on the rest of the team. They're going to start to hunt them down like hyenas, but they'll find the frags that they need. Unfortunately, not able to you know, convert that into a spike defusal, but 2 quick kills is good enough to knock down some of those credits for the side of NiP. Of course, they are in the lead. Credits still on the table, lots to go around, but it's a couple of those members that have to force up, which means you see Korea, you see Hip, they've only got about 1,900 and 1,200 respectively, which means, hey, if you're forZe, that is the best you can do, I feel like, at this point, if you're slipping away rounds.
They figured things out, though, and they made requests to balance out the cash. So 4,800, 4,600, 5,100, 5,500, 4,100. Plenty of credits currently available for NiP after they initially just purchased, but realized a couple players were close to that max money limit of 9K. Coffee playing the crack shot over towards Hookah. You see more presence towards mid and Hookah than we've seen the last couple of rounds coming in from NiP. They've been favoring more towards the A site. The Al drone going high initially, getting gunned down here by Coffee, and that's exactly why that position can be oh so punishing. The Al drone gets the intel initially. There's a lot of potential intel for the side of NiP between the Raze bomb bot, between the Al drone, the recon dart, the cameras coming in from Sentinel, so they can flush that position out quite nicely. That aggressive Hookah play gets totally punished here, and it leaves Breach on the site alone, hoping for some extra support. It's finally coming through from the Sage, but it's taken some time to get there, so Smart 7's not on the site, just playing back towards CT. The nade's going to pour in and do some damage. Heal used a little bit aggressively early on here. Smart 7 was on 90 HP and went for the self-heal. We'll see if that ends up being a problem later in the round.
I like this look from NiP. They use a lot of utility towards B, make them think that it's going to be the push. There's 2 members there holding down the site. Well, I mean, at this point, you only have a 2-2 split. There's not really much you can do in terms of spilling resources over. But NiP, they're ready for another look towards this A site. Well, really, the only look this round. Earlier on, we did see forZe. They pushed 3 towards Showers, likely got that ult orb, but really at what cost? Lost a lot of ground towards B, but they're gaining a lot of ground on the site. That spike needs to go down, and NiP's indecisiveness might cost them. 5 seconds left to plant. They need to get on the site. Coffee knows this, finds one. Korea with the refrag, but they don't have enough time to plant, and forZe time them out and win the round.
Too slow for their own good, almost. NiP just not necessarily getting onto the site as quickly as they need to get that spike down. So a bit of a problem coming in from NiP. And as a result, forZe capitalizes. It allows them to stabilize their money a bit as well. You can see Impala's now on the operator and has some serious cash built up. Again, there was plenty of money for NiP, so not necessarily at any risk of being bankrupted currently. But you're going to see an op in play from both sides. It's going to be in the hands of Impala. Now, we watched on Haven how multiple times we saw some early peaks coming in from the operator, and it didn't work out well. We saw it on long A on Haven. We saw it on long C as well, where Lucker was able to consistently punish. There's the Al drone leading the way. The run it back has been popped here for forZe. Nice blind coming out. The paranoia giving away that position is the bomb buddy. They've gotten up onto this A site. Rhyme is going to drop the brim. But there's still 2 here. The Sage and the Cypher pushed into Showers. Now the wall is going to go down to try and guarantee the spike plant. Like this aggressive wall placement coming in from Smart 7. Costs him a lot of HP to win that initial fight, and the res comes in anyway. Great utility use coming in from the attack.
Yeah, they made it quite chaotic when they pushed on towards the site, and they'll just find pick after pick. And that's really all they need to try to stop the defusal. All down to one final player. It is, of course, Zeddy. He's going to find one, but too many angles to check, so little time. Rhyme is going to be the one that finds him just in time, and that sounded amazing. Unintentionally, of course. 3-6 the scoreline, 3 remaining in this half, of course. And for NiP, they're having a pretty good attacker side. We'll see if that is able to translate over towards the defense. To be quite honest, I have a feeling that it will, considering how dominant they've been already so far. A very even map of Vine can only mean great things, and could get to a point now for NiP, if they have a strong enough lead, if they win the pistol, it is devastating for forZe. So they need to start really laying on those rounds and trying to figure out how can they defend against this NiP roster.
That early play trying to get aggressive on long B does not go so well, and this is something we talked about. Trying to force those early fights with the operator has not panned out well for forZe. This time, though, they don't lose in that initial battle to another operator. They lose to Hip, who comes through from hookah and catches them off guard just a bit. So the B site's been lost, and again, forZe's in a situation where they just can't go for this. They lose too much too early, and the rest of the team is left on the opposite side of the map, unable to really get back towards that site in a timely manner. And then they also have a disadvantage. So yet again, forZe is saving back towards the A site, whereas in the past, it's usually been saving towards the B site, as NiP has had access to that A site time and time again.
So this is what I touched on earlier on. At what point do you stop saving here for forZe? Well, they are able to get some kills, though, and that is great for them. Clap, clap. Great stuff. But is that all you're really going to go for? Especially when, of course, NiP are going to try to hunt you down. They might eventually win, Steady the last one standing. But how many saves does it take for you to realize that you need to get involved at some point? You need to take some risks. And when you take risks, it either pays off or it goes poorly. In a lot of cases here for forZe, it has gone poorly, but we saw an attack on Haven, but they were able to get some chaotic fights with NiP and actually come out victorious. Maybe that's what they're looking for towards that second half. See if they can bring the chaos towards NiP. It's just not working out on defense, and it can't work out when you keep saving the weaponry.
Well, I like this attempt, at least. Double porting through over towards A, trying to get aggressive. Also on short is Smart7, but Rhyme was waiting on the other side of that smoke. As soon as they hear the ports, they're just going to run towards the B site. So they heard that early port play, and they're going to go ahead and stick that spike potentially on the backside, or even just go all the way back towards the A site. You can see players already in spawn, so Coffee is coming in, and he's actually going to get the best of Hip. It's actually Kolyan back behind him. Impala finds one as well. This is working out quite nicely. Great shock dart damage coming out, but they have to be careful. They're backing off the play. They've given over guns. Another shock dart comes out. Somehow the Cypher survives that. Wall's going to come in from Lucker to try and delay the push.
Yeah, unfortunately, the Cyber Cage not giving him a great angle in towards Labs. So they'll have to reposition. The post plant still in their favor. A great shot onto Coffee. Still looking for a couple more. Shots through the tin can will be good for Impala, but it's just down to one final player, Kolyan. And he's already starting to save the weapon. Smoke's gonna go down for him, and it's another weapon saved into yet another round as we enter into the last and final round of the half. Lots of weapons saved for forZe, but unfortunately those weapon saves do not result in any one round. It's looking like a potential 3-9 scoreline for NiP here, considering how convincing these takes have been and how difficult the retakes are coming back into these sites. So see if they can find or try to squeeze out this last and final one, but you know, with the double op coming out for NiP, I don't think.
Who do they think they are?
They debated it. They're not actually doing it. They did for a second. You could see it come out, but they decided not to. Here comes that aggressive peek again, and Impala gets flushed out of position after some early damage was dealt. He did actually hit that leg shot onto the Raze, dropping him low on HP. Zeddy has picked off one as well, so a promising start to the round for forZe. But we've seen them get off to a great start in rounds already in this first half, where it's been spun around and it's been NiP who has managed to pick up the round win. To be fair, same could be said in the other direction. Zeddy, continuing to play aggressively on this A site, has found one more and has given forZe a promising start, one of the more promising starts we've seen in the last 5 or 6 rounds for them, to potentially cap things off with a 4th round here at the end of the first half. Zeddy still in position over towards U-Haul. Smart7 jump peeking just to spot the showers push. And they've got support from the Brim up in heaven as well, but with only a rifle, no operator picked up here. There's the intel coming in from the Omen ult. More ults being popped. Nice nade coming down onto Zeddy. But it's a 4-on-2 here, as it's going to be Kriya and Fearoth trying to bring this round back to their favor. You've still got to contend with Smart7.
Yep, shot's good. Swings around the corner, and that's going to be good for Smart7. You know, I have a question about that dark cover that was placed on Tetris. What was it covering, or did maybe it end up in some sort of misclick, or maybe he was looking for the left or the right of Tetris? There was just a smoke on Tetris, and it wasn't blocking anything. Heaven could still see towards A short. I'm pretty sure Heaven could still see towards showers. Nobody was even pushing from showers for NiP, so I wonder, what was that smoke doing? What was the intention of it? because they were all pushing from A short, and Heaven could still quite plainly see down that line.
forZe. Living by their name, winning forZe rounds.
Okay. I'm gonna nip that in the bud.
Listen, it's 6:30 a.m. my time, okay? The dad jokes aren't as good as they usually are. I'm sorry. Cancel me, please, for bad jokes. We're moving into the second half. You know, forZe is going to have to find something early. They really need to pick up this pistol. Coming into the series, NiP was definitely the favorite. We talked about it. NiP, a favorite to make top 4 at this event by a mile. It's basically NiP, G2, Fish 123, and Party Parrots that a lot of people are looking at as the top 4 contenders. But looking at this replay, I mean, you can just look at this last round. You had Smart7 sitting towards U-Haul, just playing that one patiently, but it was really the breach play early on that kicked things off. That breach play coming out got things going on that A site by just playing aggressively on short and pushing the fight straight to their faces, which is how we saw NiP play on Haven. They started to get really aggressive. They got punished at times by forZe, at least, as there was a much closer first half coming in when forZe was on the attack. And we'll see if that's going to be the case again. I mean, NiP is now going to be feeling it. They had an 8-4 half, so that aggression might be a thing right off the bat. But forZe desperately needs to pick up a pistol round win. They can't allow NiP to get off to a 10-4 start, assuming they win the pistol in the round that follows.
Yeah, that would be kind of the most devastating thing that could happen to forZe. But for them, you know, I have a feeling that attack might be a little bit better suited for them than the defense. We saw it on Haven, how they were able to at least make things a little bit more chaotic for NiP. That was when NiP got to attack, that they were able to just turn up the heat. We are seeing how forZe are setting up their attack for the first round of the pistol. Usually you see a little bit more of a heavy push towards one side or the other. So far, being not even going to be contested. Tripwire is set up, and now they'll look towards the A side. Fearoth is going to find one with the shock dart, something you don't normally see, but with armor not available, makes a whole lot of sense to me. Koyan with one, he's going to find two, and that site opens up wide. 2 members now going to hop in through the portal, and they'll make their way through the showers. It's Lucker and Kriya. Can they make things very difficult? Zeddy gonna find one. It's Lucker looking for the refrags, but it's looking like a pistol one here. Rhyme, the last member standing. He's got a lot of cleaning up to do if he wants to defuse the spike.
Great round coming in from forZe. You've got Rhyme now coming through from Heaven with just a ghost. Here's footsteps just beneath. It's the jumping Sage. Eventually gets the ghost under control. The first shot was just a dink, delivers the fatal blow. The spike is planted on the backside of sight, and there's the Brim coming in with a wide peek. That's exactly what forZe needed to kickstart this second half. They needed to pick up a big pistol round, and they needed to pick it up with multiple players surviving, really get that confidence going. But these second rounds haven't always been so easy. I mean, we saw it in the first half. NiP won the pistol, and then forZe won the round that followed. NiP could very well do the same thing here. You know, we already saw some extra firepower being brought into the round as Kriya was going to the Marshall.
Yeah, they're forcing up, man. I like it. I want to see what they end up doing with it. It's definitely going to surprise forZe. You don't anticipate. It does feel like Europe is a little bit more frugal with their early rounds. You know, we'll see a ghost after a 1 round. Like, it might even be that forZe has a bunch of ghosts. Like, they didn't even invest into Spectres, or they didn't invest into Ares, or whatever they wanted to buy. And so the force up here from NiP is a very interesting take. They want to try to start stealing away some of these rounds as early as possible. If they can make the economy difficult for forZe to deal with, that's the most ideal scenario for them. So one going to be playing in showers, the other 2 going to be playing towards A short. That's going to be 1 kill for Impala. Now it's the rest of NiP that have finally joined us. Actually, no, it's 2 members taking the long flank all the way through the market. It's Kriya all on his lonesome with Hip. See how they retake the site.
It was a nice shot coming out from Impala to the no-scope from the Marshall over towards Showers. Again, a heavy U-Haul control right now. That flash didn't really produce as much success as you'd hope. Hip going nuts with the ghost. Smart7 there to save the day, as is Impala. Again, it will be Rhyme in the one-on-many. Impala right around the corner, going to toss out the cam. There's the peek coming through from Rhyme. It's 3 on the round for Impala, starting out with just a Marshall, finding the first 2 before going to the sidearm to close out that final fight. 6 rounds for forZe, so they do get that second round conversion. The extra force being brought into the round from NiP doesn't really work out so well for them. And if anything, the damage that was being dealt was by the pistol of, I believe it was Hip.
Yeah. Yeah, this ghost play right here through the flash as well. He's going to find 2. Of course, it's the second one that is not flash, but I'd love to have a look at the economy and see where are both teams at, because that force up here from NiP is definitely going to be costly for them. They're likely not going to have Phantoms, likely not going to have Vandals, and judging by their play, stacking 5 towards B, they're maybe looking for a couple of early frags and make it expensive for forZe. Try to get maybe some weapons back into their side, and have a great round trying to retake some of these, early plants from forZe. forZe think that there are a couple of members on A. They're playing it, safer than sorry, but NiP, of course, they're just all held up on the B site.
Smoke's down.
Here comes the smokes towards that A site.
Yeah.
Again, you talked about it, heavy stack towards B. I mean, there's not really much to smoke off or any reason to smoke it. So they realize site's free and clear. NiP just kind of chilling right now on the B site, figuring out what they want to do. You can also kind of use these rounds as a tactical timeout. So you can use a round like this where you're stacked up on a site. If there's no action coming your way and the spike gets planted across the map, you can use that time to just talk things over. We've seen that from teams in the past, especially in Counter-Strike, where a round like this, you're not going to win it. So just waste out the clock and use that entire time to talk over your plan for the rounds that are going to follow, which could also be the case here for NiP. They could be taking that approach. They're currently just sitting in the wishbone and spawn right now, waiting for maybe some exit kills. There's the first spot by Impala. Again, the Marshall working out nicely. The no-scope's going to connect as well. That quick fire rate coming out on the Marshall, straight to the skull of Rhyme. The Brim picking up the Marshall, but it's going to be the Ghost to close things out. There's still one that survives. It's the Sova. But it'll be NiP coming through with a big buy here, and we'll see how they try and stop the bleeding after forZe has put on a decent little push in this second half.
Say what you want about the first half, but once things really start to ramp up in the second, that's where the economy is way more important. We're seeing a replay. Good look at some of that Marshall play from Impala. But for NiP, it does feel like in terms of the economy, they'll likely have some credits to spend now, and so playing a little bit more towards that standard setup, 3 towards B and 2 towards A. Waiting for an opportunity for someone to peek, try to get an early pick. Operator here for Lucker. We've seen how devastating it may be, but now that he's been smoked off, he'll likely have to back away. It's Korea that is getting in position. The spray is good. It's 2 headshots onto the opposition, and now backing away. It's that spike that's down as well, so they need to play this a little bit more differently. Keep an eye on that spike and make sure that nobody manages to swoop it up.
Impala waiting for the peak to come through. We saw how strong he played with the Marshall, but he hasn't really much converted that on the Operator. As I say, that quick shot coming out straight to the skull of Fearoth the Sova. The traps go down on the site, the cyber cages. That initiates a peak coming in from the Raze. Coffee gonna lay down the hot hands, walking through it to get control of U-Haul, but the spike is all the way across the map by itself. So Breach is going to have to run to get back towards this A site. Looking at the clock, it's going to take up a decent chunk of time just to get into position. So yeah, they've got 2 players up on A, but what happens, what changes in the time it takes to the Breach to get there? He's finally making his way up catwalk, and there's the peak. So Coffee is going to go down on the site. They're going to hear that smoke in just a second, or that spike, excuse me, but there's the popped ult coming in, the showstopper. Wow. Point blank range. Yeah, sure, he goes down, but the rocket delivers on the fatal blow. NiP convert on a round win with 3 players surviving.
Tom said he was the bazooka man, and hopefully that satisfied him, because that was something that I don't think forZe will forget. Bazooka to the face, definitely not going to survive it. Looking for what looks like another buy round here from forZe, or at least some of them will have the credits to buy. NiP, they still have their lead. It's a 2-round lead and 3 away from the match point. So 1 round at a time is what all they need. Close this one out 2-0. Early flash here from Coffee. Hip in a great position. We saw Zeddy in the same position previous, and he found 2 early frags in the last and final round of the half. Now the early swing. Coffee has no idea, but the patience from Hip will net him the frag. He was looking for maybe 1 more. But nobody else decided to swing here with Coffee.
Yeah, I like the patience, but seeing that he was starting to look towards his left, the fear of potentially being spotted. Locker with a nice shot. Spike's been dropped as well. That's towards the top side of mid, and it's down to 2. Yet again, it is forZe who have a massive disadvantage. Impala is on the op. He's looking to spot one in the B site. Brim back towards mid. They have both ults, so they have Neural Theft and they have the Orbital Strike, so they could push these players out of position. That Sova could be in a terrible spot should he decide to pop the ult in that territory. With 40 seconds left, there's still time to try to work some picks, but it's looking like it's going to be around for NiP.
That'll put them 10-9, 2 rounds away from match point, and NiP slowly inching their way forward towards the victory. Unfortunately for Impala, that car will go back towards the shop. Needs a little bit of work done. Rhyme will take him out quite easily. Unfortunately, the operator not able to land the shot that is needed most. Olian now the last one standing. Gives us a little bit of a nod as he hears a couple of footsteps around him. And at this point, NiP, they're just going to go fishing. See if they can catch themselves a large bass, maybe a cod, maybe some salmon. But it's Colian that they're looking for. And so far haven't found him. A spray through the box. Korea has no idea. Takes him down to 78, I think was the last total point, and swings around the corner and takes out the Brim.
Well, they had that recon dart as well, giving away his position towards the end, so he wasn't going to survive for too much longer. Double digits on the scoreboard now for NiP. The buy coming in for forZe should be pretty bad. Again, there is a bug with the game currently. In the second half, the scoreboard gets a little bit funky. So I know some of you have been asking for the scoreboard. Unfortunately, it only shows 2 players. I know Riot is aware of it, and they're working towards a fix. We should see a fix soon, but it's nothing that our observers can do about it, so we do apologize for that. Again, you've got Lucker playing up. Yeah, we do have X-Ray. Yeah. You know what? We've got X-Ray, and we've got the scoreboard functioning exactly as it should when it's showing us everything. So there's that. We've had a couple of bugs with the spectator client throughout each edition of the game, but just having X-Ray is nice in the current version. As they go for the A play, they're going to have to contend with Fearoth, who hits a nice shock dart to do some damage on the push. Gets beaten by the pistol, though. Kriya has to go for an awkward port. Gets put down on 23 HP and actually going to port back in the same direction. Double satchel going down, but it's just a little too late. The spike does get planted as the nade came through as well. Nice shot coming out from Hip with the operator. And it reduces down to Smart7, who's here with a Guardian, trying to delay this retake coming through. Heal coming out onto Kriya. First target around the corner is Rhyme, and just can't quite line up the shot as Rhyme goes for a shallow peek with the rifle. It will be 11 rounds for NiP.
They got the spike down. A couple of extra credits in their pocket, but not as much as they obviously would like. They would want themselves to have all the credits in the world and put themselves in a position to try to get some of these rounds back in their favor. 11-7. I wish it was 7-11. I mean, it is, but 11-7 scoreline. NiP, of course, in the lead, 4 rounds ahead for them. And they're round after round inching their way closer and closer. For forZe, they do have the credits to buy. It's going to be the force up for them, but the round to follow will be difficult to put credits together. And so if NiP come out with this round, forZe will not be able to answer in the round to follow and likely will result in a 2-0 victory for NiP. And so very important for forZe to win this one. Let's see what the setup looks like. So far, gathering feelers towards both sites. Impala with the early pick onto Hip, and that's great. That's what you want. You find that pick towards Showers, and now that might open up towards A, but they're still looking for a pick on that B side.
We've still got Fearoth here as well, so they go for that double aggression in Showers. They lost full control of the A site as they've gone for a 3-player defense towards B. The round not exactly looking so good for NiP here, as this is what we talked about on the last map. Getting a little aggressive once they started feeling confident, and they got punished for it. Tripwire's going to give away the flanking position. That puts Smart7 in a great spot. Doesn't make a difference as Kriya's aim is just too crisp. As he comes around the corner, that'll be another one for Kriya, who's actually currently getting healed. Now the hot hand's going to try and delay this as they've managed to bring it to a 3-on-3. Port past the fire does not work out so well for Kriya, but there's Lucker, the man with the operator there with the quick trade. Lucker trying to come up from short's going to get some assistance from Rhyme, who locks down that position, and now it's down to 1. It's Coffee in the 1-on-3 after the res comes through. That was a 5-on-3 retake. Excellently played by NiP.
forZe, forZe, forZe. What went wrong? You found the pick on Showers, then you find another, and
At
feels
first,
bad
I
if
thought
you're a
you
forZe
said
fan.
I thought you said Curva, which would also accurately display what that round just was from forZe. That just was not good. You're in a 5-on-3. How do you lose that round?
no. You know, at the highest level of Valorant, you don't lose those rounds. At least I don't feel like you do. There comes to a certain level where I feel like there has to be a standard of play. And for forZe, that was definitely not some standard level of play coming out from them. Unfortunate, of course. NiP have a feeling that they're going to have a great round. It is yet another force up. I didn't think that they would have the credits to buy, but it looks like they do. Of course, the scoreboard would have been able to tell us all that we needed to know, but still, they have the credits to buy. So essentially a good round. They find a pick onto Rhyme. They're still looking for that peek here from Impala. He's going to try to take things out here with the Guardian, but it's not going to bode well for him. Korea going to find one. He's going to find two. That spike will go down, but at what cost? You lost two members towards long. Zeddy in the tuna can, trying to keep things cooking. It's the showstopper that ends up whipping down the distance. Flucker going to take out Zeddy. And now it is all down to Coffee. 8 HP. Hunter's Fury almost going to seal the deal, trying to juke it left and right. Almost walks right back into it. That spray not going to be good. And an anticlimactic finish. It's the spike that's diffused. And NiP, a 2-0 victory from them. Haven and Bind. Wow.